I will like to play the soundbite of Mizoram Chief Minister Zoram Thanga, and then I'll come to you, and then we will start discussing these very, very crucial points, as far as restoring normalcy, law and order, and what does statements of N. Biren Singh mean. First, listen into what Zoram Thanga has to say.
Manipur lama le tanga ko chon puina le tundin chonai iam tum nin kan sia eli lama ko hando kan ringa hei to ko
Mizoram mi puida be se ang le kan duang hian sarkar le hian man ma la lo ta se la Mizoram mi puida tan Mizoram ha tha mi puida tan Mizoram sarkar senin ni ai ko
kan ti thei chin to kan thei to pin chan kan manga atin sarkar lai puina ati nge le tuin anor ko kan noranga tin sarkar lai puin ma thei to alat nge ko
sir artisan translate the way MLF might withdraw from the NDA.
Well, so far the party has not made a consideration for this. It depends upon the political necessity.
What are your thoughts on encouraging refusing to resign?
It depends upon the political exigency and necessity. Because in politics, there is no hard and fast rule.
Sir, the government then is drop on denouncing the
Horrific incident.
Manipur. Do you think the government has done a job?
Which government?
Mizoram government.
Well, as far as our government is concerned, we are trying our level best, but still we feel that we have to do much more. And however, we say that even doing the best is not enough at the present time. Well, certainly we are all united, irrespective of the parties, irrespective of organizations, and irrespective of different communities. We all are united for this purpose.
So will you continue to support NDA even after this?
You heard Zoram Thanga, Mizoram Chief Minister, stating about what he feels about this entire incident. Suhas, yesterday N. Biren Singh made several important statements, and the reason I call them important is because it talks about the illegal immigrants, which is the othering of one community, which is the main grouse. He talks about separate administration and saying that he talks about how they will deal with the illegal drug trade which is there. And he also spoke about the EU, he spoke about Mizoram CM, and also about the video which went viral. And I would say that, as Dongal Bhai, wisely said that day, that it was one video which was horrifying to see, but it was a very important video because it brought back the focus of Manipur, like, trust me, nothing did in the last 80-90 days. How do you deal with this situation, when the demand is of separate administration, and that there's a demand by the Kukis that there should be a separate state. And then the Chief Minister says that not even an inch of land will be separated from Manipur till the last drop of blood runs in my veins. It's very much like, what Mrs. Indira Gandhi said, that, mere khoon ka aakhri katra bhi desh ki seva karega. Something on that line, that, that not even an inch of land will be separated from Manipur till the last drop of blood runs in my veins. How do you see this very hardening of position vis-a-vis the demand which is being made by the Kuki community? And is it going to further inflame the situation which is there?
This is nothing but inflaming the situation, provoking the Kukis, and to tell the Kuki community that you will.
I think there is some issue, there's some technical issue with Suhas, and we'll go back to him the second we restore our connection. Dongal, are you able to hear me? Okay, I would. There is some technical issue which our team is resolving as we speak. But let's go and listen to the father of missing boy whose son has gone missing, and he is making an impassioned plea to the government to see to it that his son returns to him without any harm. It's a terrible, terrible human tragedy, if I may say so. When the father, nothing could be worse, than a father or mother, who have to pray to the state for the security of his son or daughter. I mean, as a father, I can just say that there could be nothing more terrifying for them than this. Please listen into this soundbite, and then we'll return back to our discussion.
हुआ क्या था, क्या पता चला आप लोगों को?
अच्छा, मेरा बेटा और बेटी लापता आज तो 20 दिन पूरा हो गया। पहले तो कुछ सोचा है वापस आएगा। कभी कभी प्रेसमेंट को किसी गवर्नर, होम मिनिस्टर, चीफ मिनिस्टर को रिक्वेस्ट किया ढूंढने के लिए, लेकिन आज तो एक छोटा सा वायरल वीडियो देखा है। इसी वीडियो को देखने में सोचा है वो लड़की हमारा बेटी है, इसीलिए 100% कॉन्फिडेंस है वो वीडियो। लेकिन मेरा बेटा लड़का का पता नहीं, वो भी क्या हो गया पता नहीं, इसीलिए इट इज़ डेफिनेटली इट विल बी बोट वेयर डेफिनेटली मार डाला, मैं सोचा है। इसीलिए सबसे बड़ा प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी जी को और होम मिनिस्टर अमित शाह और मणिपुर के चीफ मिनिस्टर, एक्सीलेंसी गवर्नर मणिपुर, सबको मैंने प्रणाम किया। वो हम क्या हो गया, हम आंखें के ऊपर में बैठा है, वी आर सिटिंग अपॉन ए फायर फ्लेम। सो प्लीज़ हेल्प अस, प्लीज़ टेस्ट और व्हाट एवर रिजल्ट तो हमको पता चलना चाहिए। जल्दी इसको एक्शन लेना चाहिए और ज़िंदा होने से हैंड ओवर कीजिए। लेकिन 100% कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है, डेफिनेटली इट विल बी किल्ड बाय द कुकी पीपल्स, आई थिंक सो।
It's extremely unfortunate that that a father or a parents have to undergo this. Suhas, you please carry on with your point, because there was a technical disturbance due to which we couldn't hear a major portion of what you were saying. Please go ahead.
No, what I was basically saying is that only yesterday, Prime Minister of India had asked the Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe to implement the 13th Amendment of the Constitution, guaranteeing the rights of the Tamils in Sri Lanka. So now, if India can intervene in the internal affairs of a foreign country, obviously, if something is going on inside the country, as a citizen, Chief Minister of Mizoram will have the right to express his opinion, and I have listened to his interview, and it was very reserved. When there were specific questions, he basically said, there is no hard and fast rule as far as the resignation is concerned, and he basically said we have to find a solution irrespective of the communities. So you have somebody speaking about taking all communities along. So if your response is to say that last drop of my blood will be used to protect the territorial integrity. Now the question is, if you look at this country, what has happened? The reorganization of states took place in 1971 in the Northeast. So many states we are carved out of the Northeast, and so many states we are carved out subsequently. Jharkhand has come out, Uttarakhand has come out, the Chhattisgarh has come out, Telangana has come out. You do not have to separate these states. You basically have to create adequate administrative arrangement, and at this point of time, there are adequate administrative arrangement in terms of the Hill councils. You could strengthen the Hill council, whatever. These are final outcomes of negotiations. But in order to prevent any kind of negotiations, he is speaking in a manner so that he can consolidate or harden his position. And that is why I am least optimistic about what Majidal had said. He had said absolutely correct. Those are the steps to be taken back. But the army cannot operate at this point of time because there is interference from the political leadership, and not interference from political leadership at the state level, at the central level. And we are supposed to discuss the role of the Mera parents. When the 11 members of the KYKL, including those who are allegedly responsible for killing of the security forces, who are let off after being, arrested with arms and ammunition, as somebody had said yesterday, this cannot be a decision at the level of a local commander, because the local commander knows if he or she lets off this kind of insurgents, he or she will be held accountable. So there had to be some kind of instruction from the political leadership or the leadership of the military at the top level. So if you have this kind of an atmosphere where the security forces have no space to operate on their own, even with respect to those who are carrying arms, which is serious offenses, how do you expect the situation to turn back to normalcy? The situation cannot turn back to normalcy. It's very easy to say that, there are communities coming from Myanmar side and they are a security risk. But, in Manipur, in Mizoram, there are about 45,000 people from Myanmar who have taken shelters. And how many people have taken shelter in the Manipur? Possibly 4,000, 5,000. There is a free movement regime. People come freely every day. And there are students from both sides of the border. From Myanmar, they come to these schools in India and they go back in the evening because the situation was normal. So there are security risks when insurgent groups are involved. But at the end of the day, people who are facing persecution from the other side of the border, they will come here. So, saying that the security force, these people pose a threat, that's not the issue. If you do not have a mechanism wherein you document the refugees or asylum seeker and you assess their claims, so just saying that you deport them, it doesn't work out. Then if you said you deport them, they will immediately come and make local cards, whether it's other cards or some other cards, because everything is available in this country. So that's why, so many refugees are arrested with other cards, PAN cards, etc., which allows the mobility. Maybe not at this point of time, but they are moving around regularly. And, in 1990s, about 100,000 Chinese had come and sought shelter in Mizoram after the military took over. They had not gone back. They were integrated, and nobody is going to find them tomorrow. So this kind of social integration has already been taking place, and in Manipur also that has been happening.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, you have to have a policy on, on people who are coming this side of the point. The last point, I just wanted to mention one thing about the drug cartel and involvement. No particular community is involved in poppy cultivation. Poppy cultivation might be done by a particular community areas, but it is with the support of some people in the involved in the drug cartel. You must remember this problem started with the arrest of a tribal rights activist in Churachandpur area and arrest of some Meiteis allegedly involved in international drug trafficking by the Delhi police in Delhi. This conflict, I will not name the persons, but this conflict started simply because of the problems over sharing of the money which comes from the drug cartel. And it belongs to both the communities.
Okay.
The root cause of this problem is that.
Okay, Mr. Dongal, if you look at the statement which has been made by Chief Minister, because our reporter who is at the ground, has horror stories from both ethnicities. We saw a Kuki person talking about how his son has gone and he's not been able to reach out to him, and we saw a Maiti who's been saying that how his son and daughter have been missing for 20 days, and he's requesting the Chief Minister, he's requesting everybody to get them back. I mean, the horror stories are from both sides. But if you look at the statement which has been made by Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh, when he's saying that the government is not against Kuki community but illegal immigrants, and part B, so what exactly is your problem with this statement? Shouldn't this be all right? I mean, because any government should be against illegal immigrants. I'm just trying to understand the situation.
Let me open my statement to your second question by saying that since the Chief Minister started the violence, he wants to finish it. That is the only reason why he used strong words like, until the last drop of my blood runs in my vein, I'm not going to surrender an inch of Manipur land. Simple. Secondly, if you look at the issue of illegal immigrants, I have heard a lot of discussion being held in several news channels and also in News 9 Live, and I've seen how Yami has also good knowledge about the issue of illegal immigrants. But as per my knowledge, somebody who comes from Churachandpur and who is obviously has family members living at the borders of More to Myanmar. I have seen how those people living in More have said that the reason why, despite the violence, the volatile situation in Manipur, we still see a lot of people, let's say people coming across the border, is because of the violence, is because of the military junta in Myanmar. There's a law and order failure also in Myanmar. And uh, the people, the local people have again, added that the reason why a lot of people have come is because of the atrocities committed to them by the Meitei terrorists in Myanmar. Now, let me simplify. Oh, as you know, Meitei terrorists are given shelter in Myanmar, and they're fighting alongside the military junta against the PDF, People Defense Force, which is the military arm wing of the Aung San Suu Kyi's political party. So the Meitei militants, or otherwise the terrorists, are fighting alongside the military junta and carrying out atrocities in Myanmar. And if you look at it, the PDF has a close relationship again with the Chin people living in the state of Myanmar, or otherwise the Chin Hills in Myanmar. And that's the reason why when these forces are too strong to be, kept at bay, we see, immigrants or otherwise these people, the Chin people crossing across the border. And that's basically because despite the violence in Manipur, they still feel that if we can get to Churuchampur or otherwise the Mizoram government, we are more safe in these places than staying there in their own home in Myanmar and die there. And according to my personal opinion, in order to solve this problem or the issue of illegal immigrants at this point in time, I feel that the Chief Minister of the Northeast, especially those bordering states like Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, and Arunachal Pradesh, this Chief Minister should have a humane touch, a humane heart to address this. Why I'm saying this is because during in times of this is not just the Kuki Chin Mizo group, but anybody for that matter will definitely try and go against the law or otherwise against the existing law to find shelter or to find safety. And in fact, if the Chief Minister of all the Northeast states can have a human touch towards the suffering of the people and make some arrangement, the fact that India is a federal country, to a certain extent, the Chief Ministers have the power or the authority to make certain arrangement. I believe that
he also Mr. Dongle, he also said about separate administration that there were demand by Kuki group that there should be a separate state for them. He's the Chief Minister of Manipur said that not even an inch of land will be separated from Manipur till the last drop. How do you view this statement?
Right. Yes. The reason why the idea of separate administration, emerged is because we see how, according to Article 371C of the Indian Constitution, we have the constitutional protection for the tribals, especially the tribals in Manipur, the Kukis and the Nagas. We have the Autonomous District Council, we have the Hill Area Committee under which, the hill area should be administered. But you look at, since the time this article or otherwise this law was implemented, since 1972 to be precise, we have seen how this law is being abused, this law is being muzzled, this law is being throttled entirely from the time Manipur became a separate state. And we have seen the stepmotherly treatment of the tribals, be it the Nagas and the Kuki. That's the reason why, the core issue why, today, that the fight for autonomy, the fight for separate administration from both sides of the community, the Kukis and the Nagas, continue to linger on. And today we see how the fact that the violence, the hatred, which has never existed, since the time I was born, this kind of hatred, the history of Manipur has never seen. Ethnic cleansing that takes place. yeah, we tout this to be, the sufferings from both sides. I agree, there are sufferings from both sides. But if you look at the gravity, if you look at the weight of the sufferings of the tribals, the Kuki Joe community is enormous. Enormous. It cannot be compared. And we see how there are instances of where, parents losing their children